Today is January 5th, 2023. Okay, I had to go to work for an hour this morning. I passed meds, got my certificate. Told you can pass an FBI background check, okay? So, because this whole thing's a scam. They're running around saying bad stuff about me. I went into Walmart afterwards. Some guys came in and went, it was drug dealers going after Karen's will? Who would have thought? Oh, come on. Okay. All right. And some guy said, did that really go, what she have really go into spontaneous remission all the time? He said, yeah, I checked. He said, I felt bad about everything. So a person from that family showed up and said she was faking she was sick and faking she got well with her grieving. So nobody helped her. How much they pay you not to do your job? How much they pay you not to do your job? And it's going to come down to that. Do you know Ron Vega, his one daughter, is an RN nurse? Been an RN nurse 7 years. So with her having being an RN nurse, she would know everything about it. That it goes into spontaneous remission all the time. So his own daughter would already be educated and know that. And everybody with any kind of education, you can go into Google and actually, if you're not a brainwashed occult person, and actually look it up. See, that agent played them so that he could put me in the witness protection program and steal the money. That's where it becomes an oh my God case. Like they said, for it's my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna at a store. It's for my daughter they did all this for, and our family watching her doing this. Michelle's family. For then Michelle, young blonde girl at Faith Family Church, my dad's FBI, he works the case, ID Dave. And she admitted to watching me on the toilet in Ravenna. She admitted she had me raped. She had this big following at Faith Family Church. She had these young girls following around, thinking she's the biggest queen bee in the world. She's a little 19, 20-year-old kid. And she's in there, having 10, 15 girls following around like she's the queen bee of the Nile. You know what I mean? And that she could do all these crimes. You know what let her do all these crimes? People not willing to do their job and arrest her and her family. Because, and then it's like, this is such a big scam he's pulling. He's the one that told on me, verified by a Stark County sheriff before I called him back. He's the one that badgered me on the phone and bullied me into saying I was lying when I wasn't. On a recorded line. He also, he made me gravel for my life on a recorded line. And then, the whole thing was to make me too afraid to open my mouth, knowing that they would have been drugging me up and that I wouldn't be processing right and that he could bully me. And bully me into being quiet while he stole the money, because then he opened the Informant program, which is a witness protection program. And that's what he was looking to do, and then steal the money and try to keep me quiet while he stole the money. That's what then tried to tell me, if you tell someone, I'll list you crazy, no one can help you. He was just bullying me, and people took him literally, like he could do it. Failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. He can't even tell me he won't protect me. See, he can't do it because he's honestly just hired a police officer. They're a Federal Bureau of what? Investigators. They're just investigations. That's it. They're just investigators. They're higher police. Do you know 90% of FBI work is just local police department? They help out and assist with it. Only 10% they look for terrorism and stuff in the area. Most of them. That's it. They just do police work with them. That's it. So, yeah, they're just higher police officers. Like Secret Service, Marshals. The only one that's actually different is CIA, which one my brother-in-law was. They do military weapons, national security, and they look outside the country. Okay? Where FBI works in the country. And they look outside like they do for like 10% for terrorism and stuff like that. But most of their work is local police work. It even says it on Google. So that educated agent could have, when he went and told on me, which is illegal. It's obstruction of justice and tampering with evidence, verified by a Stark County sheriff before I returned his call. Why would you do that? I'll tell you what, that'll curl your toenails. After what they did to me, He was probably out there trying to get either more extortion money out of them, or he was setting up more victims. And then him bullying me the next day, and then badgering me, and then demeaning me, and then making me plead, and then so I would feel like nothing. And then he would open the informant program, and he'd steal the money, and then make me too afraid to say something to anybody. And you know what's let him get away with this? Is people's low IQs. Low IQs. Because I'll tell you what, he would have known what I had actually goes into spontaneous remission all the time. There's 100 people, 80 of them will go into spontaneous remission. 80 people within 2 years or more. And I really had to work at it. I had to exercise. I had to get moving to make mine go into remission. I worked on it with months. And that's where it's got absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, even Ron Vega's one daughter is an RN nurse. She would know that. She would know that. And she's been RN nurse for what, 5 to 7 years? So she would know that it goes in there all the time. See, that's where all this is just nothing but a big scam from that church and that agent helping out with us. Him going up there and then, yeah, it's just a big scam. They already knew it went into remission all the time. They already knew that. His one kid's an RN nurse. RN nurse. Yeah, has medical training. So, yeah. So, we're going to go a little bit further. Yeah. So, the two guys walked by me and said, it really did today in Walmart, January 5th. Walked by and said, I feel bad about everything. That what she had really does go into spontaneous remission all the time. He's like, yeah, I checked. He said nobody helped her because one of their family members said that she was faking she was sick when they were grieving. Oh, come on now. That was an occult leader's lie. You're all a bunch of actors. That agent with his drug dealing friends, they were in that store that day. They're the ones that took the 25 grand hit, where Dave had already tried to have me killed 4 different times. And it didn't work, and he's mad. He hits me with a board in the face. He goes off the store. He meets that agent and his retired judge, probably dad, his daughter, and his 2 kids out there, or family members. And they agree to help kill me. They kick in my door the 6th day. All of a sudden, I'm waking up with giant bruises, hand marks, and they're date rape drugging me, and they're photoshopping scenes on their own. And they let me get that house done, and then they attack, and then so they scare me into calling the FBI so that he can open that case and he can steal it from the federal government. Because everything, he stole over $300,000 from the government. See, I was promised $5,000 a month. That's 60 grand a year. For 4 years, I've not got a dime. Okay? They're supposed to pay my housing, my living expenses, and a medical card. They were supposed to move me out. He left me up there to die. The only rules for being in a witness protection program is for your statement against somebody in a government, some case that the government's looking into. And for your statement, they will protect you, and they put you in the witness protection program, and you're there for life. They can't let you go because failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. They can't say, see you bye, hope they don't kill you, da-da-da-da-da. They can't. You know why? They can't. And it's for only that. They can't say, if you tell someone, oh, she's crazy, no one can help you. They can't put that in a court order because the judge has to sign on that and say, what are you doing abusing this woman? Because you can't tell her, she can't say anything. You can't put a gag order on her. The only one can do it is me. A sitting judge is the only one that can put a gag order on you. And you can't tell her that nobody can help her. Failure to protect is abuse and misconduct. And he can't sign. He couldn't sign an order that is fraud. See what I mean? That's where he opened that protected life case. It just has my money in it, and it just lists me uninformed because he had to open it to steal. And then he sold the login to the protected custody case. Ran this like a reality show, okay? That he's a serial killer. Let people drug the hell out of me, beat the hell out of me, and rape me. And then keep up the terrorism so he could sell it, so people could watch it online, like where they drop people on beaches and everything else. This was Basically, what they told Dave about a case of how to get away with murder. But they were embezzling from the federal government. It's that agent out of the area, the one that returned my phone call. November 24, 22, Mercy Medical, the nurse, I think, was talking to Lady Canton officer. They already know he bullied me into saying I was lying when I wasn't. Because when I try to report something, badgering laws, Department of Justice 1729, you have to take someone's statement. If you believe it or not, you have to follow through. If you don't, they can yell badgering and you go to jail. And you lose your badge. Another officer already told me that. And that's where another sheriff from this area wanted to know why the local police haven't arrested that judge and that agent, because they can't do these crimes. And yeah, and they knew that where that Eric made fun of everybody for falling for this, and that was just that. You know, they have yelled it out, clear to Pennsylvania, to Massillon, North Canton, Alliance. It's just them stealing from the case. Do you understand? Just them stealing from the case. That agent and his drug dealing friends ran this big scam down here. Big scam. And used the people's low IQs to fall for this. Low IQs. And, you know, it's one thing if you're a brainwashed occult person and a cult leader tells you to believe something and you're brainwashed and you worship him like a god. And it's another thing when an FBI agent that's educated would be able to Google it and then threaten them. I don't care what you say about her. You touch her, I'll put you in jail. And I'm getting her out of here. You better not touch her family either. That's what he should have said. See, the whole thing of it is, what the hell was he doing at Paymer's? That was Dave's girlfriend's father. Dave already knew. I called the FBI. Dave already knew. He was dating Michelle. Even Dixie's like, I couldn't believe people like Michelle's family would even involve themselves in this with Dave just wanting to go out with someone else. Why would they? And I told her, I said, well, you know where I was almost carjacked and Dave took off and he was laughing that he left me? Yeah. I said, following around it, that was linked back to that church. Yes. Do you know about Katie leaving threats in the mall? Dave was even talking about it in front of you? Yes. I said, do you know they were supposed to put me in a witness protection program? I called the FBI. And I said I was supposed to get $5,000 a month and da-da-da. And he left me up there to die. She's like, is that why they were involved? I said, yeah, they stole over 300 grand. She's like, Karen, I'm so sorry. It's the only reason why they involved themselves. And they made millions at the Solid Login. I can go all kinds of places. Look, it's Karen's will, or it's Karen around the house, because that's what they call it. Even my client's church, Trinity Gospel Temple, the security guard they had called and said, told him I was going to be there, told him I was an FBI informant. Everybody, almost everybody in that church has, they'll like, everybody knows what's going on and we're not allowed to say anything because the guy that's with her doesn't know what's going on. They'll be out in the hallway talking about the case. They sold it like a reality show. Okay? And he's on the phone with somebody on January 1st, 2023. And just this last Sunday, and he's like, the agent's telling people he knew she was faking she was sick and faking she got well while that poor family was screaming. So he left her up there to die and stole her money to teach her a lesson. He stole my money because he's a thief. And he left me up there to die because he got to deal with him. You're not really that stupid. They put people that are hardened criminals in the witness protection program so that they testify against people that are worse. They wipe out everything, give them diplomatic immunity. They give them so much to live on, and then they hide them so they can't kill them. And you know what's funny? I was looking it up. 10 to 20% still do crimes, and they can't do a thing to them because they're in diplomatic immunity. And only 5% are actually victims. Think of that one. So how much bullshit have people actually been swallowing around here and falling for? See, I was found innocent of everything at 18. My family spoke highly of me. Because that agent actually put me in police protected custody and all the police were watching. And that's where the one set for Michelle to get the house, the agent started for the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shaw and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. And then later on the floor in a legally bugged house. We're making everything up. And the mean games of pretend. And that's why Flora, a year later, was laughing that they were mean games of pretend that they made up. And laughing her ass off. She was 7. And how they're mean jokes. And that's how the Massillon police puts it. The documented mean jokes. And the rest of my family spoke highly of me. These people running around are nothing but paid off actors from drug dealers. And that agent. He thinks he's funny stealing from the federal government. But yeah, and everybody knows he did it. They have yelled out Maslin, that's that idiot stealing everything she had in life for his own family. It's the only thing going on and exactly what's going on. And then in Alliance, and Wendy's, it's a one man from the case. He sold every dime since day one. And for himself. It's the agent that called me back. He's ran this big scam with his drug dealing friends. You know what happens when an agent or an officer gets wrapped up in drugs? They become a scary, scary, bad person. And they'll do anything for that money. Like I said, that Alex and all them, they went from driving regular cars to $80,000 trucks. Guess who paid for it? The taxpayers, where they stole the money from the federal government. Someone needs to stop this. Every month I'm alive, they're going to get $5,000 to $10,000 until they're stopped. You know, I worked in banking. You put your social in, you can find anybody's account. If it's an older account, they can get someone in the back to open it. And everybody that touched that account, you know how long it would take them to find who actually got my money? Less than 5 minutes. I worked in banking. And who called me back? I worked in banking. I'm not stupid. Someone needs to do something about this.